if you're in Thailand and you don't know what moringa is, there's a bit of Thai for you. Maroon. So I planted a load along here, probably about 50. There's none left in there, they're all dead. True to form, I put them in just before a 6-month drought, and we put goats in there as well, so they absolutely caned it. But before it all got eaten and pushed over by Bullseye and Co, I saved 3, and here's the main one, and it's pretty impressive now. They're really good, and we hack this back very often. Now I just want to show you, before we put the goats on the island full time, Bullseye used to like to use this as a scratching post, and it very rarely, well, I'd say never, had all its bark, all its skin. It was always being rubbed off. These are very soft. I wouldn't even call them a tree, they're a plant really. And it just peels off. So he'd come here with his horns, rub it, and it would just all get stripped off. But look, and there's quite a lot of scarring on it, but it's stood up to it very well. It could be that Leigh's PP should take all the thanks for that. I don't know, but you could see we've been hacking it off. These plants, these trees grow so quickly, and you can't see it from down here. We've got one seed pod left up there, but yeah, we've been collecting some seed pods, and we've actually grown from this tree. But I want to show you the other 2 that are rescued. So this one I grew from seed originally, from one of the wild trees on the farm. Along here were 2 of the larger cuttings that were just about hanging on in there where the goats were, but they did take a real battering. Now Bullseye has been out and about recently, about a week ago, but you can see there's a bit of old, that's not his doo-doo, that's just a bit of sap coming out. So he give this a real old good seeing to, but it's still okay. And don't forget, this is growing in the moon rock. I mean, that is a sad example, but you know, it's got no right to be alive, I don't think. Let's carry on. One more, quite similar, probably not quite bad condition. Now, what happened was, generally speaking, these trees go into almost like hibernation in the depths of the dry season, and then as soon as you get a little bit of rain, they just spring into life and they go bright lime green, all the new foliage, at which point the goats really like it, and that's why we haven't got a single leaf left on the lower branches. Even the small goats come out here and they'll stand up on here. That's why you'll see a little bit of scar in here, and they'll take every little bit of leaf that they can reach. But we don't mind that, as long as the tree stays alive, and that's going to be beautiful. So what I would like to quickly show you are the ones that I've grown from seed from the first tree, and these are I'm really happy with these. Now they are in my wild vegetable garden. I need to explain it before I show you it, because you might be like, oh my god, we haven't got full on rainy season yet, so I've been trying to cover up the scarred landscape and try and get as much vegetation as high as possible, and then just keep chopping and dropping it. So I'm in the process of that, and then once the rains come, I'm going to take everything down really low. But the moringa is doing us proud. All along here, where I've been growing our moringa from seed, there's a path. I know you can't see it, but there is an actual path under here. It's got about 6 inches of old leaves in there, and then I've put old wood and bits of coconut branches all the way along in front of the moringas that are growing, and then I've just let everything grow through. The idea is to try and get as much fungal activity active in here as quick as possible. So I haven't watered these at all since I put them in, and they're doing well. I mean, there's a few bugs that have been having a go. The thing is, what I've noticed is, when you get the first lot of rains and all the new lush vegetation really gets going, then when you get a dry spell and the leaves start to wilt a little bit, the bugs get on there and they'll start to eat them. I could spray them, but there's not really much point because these leaves will sort of like die back anyway. And then once the rains come, within a week, it's all crazy green. Out of the top, you'll get these new shoots. So not all of them get noshed on. These trees are so hardy. They're incredible. What my idea is, sort of going off on a tangent, and typical Leigh, I suppose, is there's a raised bed here. I know it's hard to believe, but you can see it just about here. And it's vacant. I haven't put anything in here yet, basically because my compost isn't ready and I've run out of topsoil. So I've let everything grow in here, and so I'm just chopping and dropping. And then this week I'm going to check my compost and I'm going to do the cardboard method in here. But the idea is I'm struggling to grow produce in the middle of the dry season, and I know most people do, unless they cover, put some shade cloth. I don't want to do that, and I'm going to cover this in detail in the future. What I want to do is create a canopy over here, and on the other side I've planted papaya, so we're going to have a canopy that side, a canopy from this side with the moringa, and hopefully, no matter what time of day it is, there should be some degree of shade over the two raised bed areas. So this one's getting a bit of a nibble, but honestly they just keep going. We've been picking some off here and eating them. So this was probably the worst one. Something's been noshing on here. Well, it's normally worse than this, believe it or not. If you didn't sort of like have everything else growing around them, like this sort of stuff, then yeah, the bugs just move in and cane that. They've got nothing else to eat. So this is a little bit clearer down here. But yeah, it's a lovely feeling that I don't know, it's not really a sense of achievement because it looks absolute gash round here. I appreciate that, but I know what's growing in here, and I can see where everything is, and the plan that's in my head. And as things get bigger, it will become a lot clearer for me to demonstrate for you guys. But yeah, it looks like, that I've grown them too close together. It purely depends on how you want to grow these. If you're going to crop them heavily, which we are, then you can put them really close together, even closer than this. If you want them to grow really big, and then just have them for the flowers and the seed pods, nothing wrong with that, then you need to give them a lot more space. So down here, when we had the boundary officially marked out, well, not officially, but with the guy next door who owns the other land, he brought his laser down and we put this boundary in, bang on the boundary line. There was an old moringa tree here that Toon's dad had put in, and we chopped it down, but look at the new growth coming from there. It's superb. So once we chopped it down, because it's on their side, it's up to them to then take care of that, but he'll just let it grow, so it'll come back and we'll do well from I've covered it before, but if you haven't watched any previous moringa videos in the playlist, there's so many reasons why we grow it. One, it's incredibly good for us. The health benefits of moringa is undisputed. It's just like one of the mega things that we should be eating, guys. And if we can't get it fresh, then you get it in the powdered form, or at worst stretch in the capsules. Yeah, you can make a tea out of this. That's we haven't done that yet. We haven't really got enough. We do eat a lot of it. It's probably why we're both buff. The goats love it, most of them, not all of them. But the long-term plan is, when we get absolutely loads of this, is to mix this in with the food that they get given sort of like once a day as a treat. So it's mixed in with the cassava and bits and bobs. So if it's all shredded up, then they can't take a mouthful of their treat food without getting some of this in there. It's very high in protein as well. So, it helps them maintain their weight. It's excellent. Moringa's also drought resistant. This grows very well in Africa, and it's helping to fix the soil. So if you uprooted these on the root systems, you'd see all nodules in there. So it's a nitrogen fixer. So it's another reason I just want like a network, coming underneath the raised beds area, and just knitting everything together. We do eat the seed pods, the young seed pods, but I just like to keep the big old seed pods, let them ripen, so to speak, and then just grow some more. I have kept some to one side. As soon as the rains come here for real, we had sort of like a false dawn. I thought it was starting. I planted loads of papaya seeds out that started coming up, and now we just haven't had any rain for a couple of weeks, so they're perishing. I went too early, but I've got some more ripe papaya, so I'll direct sow some more. I haven't got an awful lot of moringa seeds. Here's the youngest one that I put in. There's a few the other side of our banana here. It's good. What I've seen a few gardeners do, and I thought this was a brilliant idea, they'll companion plant. So let's say if this maybe wasn't a moringa and you were going to grow, I don't know, a teak tree or a fruit tree, something like that, they'll put it next to a banana plant or a ring of banana plants and put that tree in the middle. The banana plants grow very, very quickly and quite easily, but they give a surface area of the leaves, they give great shade to young trees that you want to grow. So as the young tree grows, then you can start chopping out your banana plants and either bin them off, give them to your animals, or just transplant the new ones. So I think that's a brilliant idea. They also improve the soil a lot and create a lot of humus. So banana plants next to other trees, whether they're moringas or not, yeah, look into that. It's really good. Some excellent videos out there on it. And there's the last one there. Now, because the goats do like them, we can't really put them round the island, because at some point the goats go all the way around the island. And although the moringas would do very well there, because basically they grow in this sort of crap, they just won't be given a chance. And I don't want to get to the situation where we've got to create like a temporary fence or barrier around every single tree that we grow. I know we want a lot of trees on the land. We have planted a lot, but the goats have not free rein, but they go over the majority of the areas on our land. So the goats are really just, I would say, one of three things that we're up against in growing more of these tall trees. The goats eating them and scratching against them, the moon rock, and also the weather. When the rainy season comes, a lot of things are so easy to grow out here, even in poor soil conditions. But until we can sort of like get the rains on a regular basis, we're just holding fire. Right, I just want to show you the seed pods. So this is one of the ones I've saved off our tree. And then as they dry out, they just split open into three sections. And inside you get like a little wrapper with the seed in. Just break off. And you get a very, very good germination rate. I don't know what it would be, but I'd say about 90–95%. If you leave it too long, you'll get little horrible things boring into these, and then you won't get a proper germination or germination at all. So don't leave them too long, or package them up well and store them properly until you get the rain season. I could start them off in pots. I've done that before, but really I found that direct sowing these is the best way to go. The transplanting of the cuttings was fine. Good success rate with that. But again, you seem to get better growth rates with these. Our missus always gives the impression on camera that she works hard. Check this out. It's all a show for the flipping camera normally. Got you on camera. You got your work to do, haven't you? Got all your jobs to do. And it's nice. And you got to get the wasp eggs. Let's go.